And we're talking about, when is a game going to happen? Well, as Grant was talking about, you want to have a lot of games because different publishers want different things. The genres are changing, and their expectations are changing, and the mechanics of them are also changing. One thing that I realized is probably to the detriment of my earlier titles, I like really wacky themes for very deep gameplay. And that disparity causes problems for folks. But in the wake of things like Cosmic Frog and other kinds of expectations, like, people are getting more liberal with themes. And last year or the year before in BGG, I got rated as one of the 5 designers they want to recognize who's just going to do whatever the hell that they want.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's great.
It's registered like after 5 titles, they're like, this guy's not going away. He's going to keep on doing these wacky themes. Is there something in your design voice that is coming through in these meetings or these particular titles?
I want them to be like easily relatable stuff that we turn into a game. Like everybody has done people watching before. Curmudgeon is a game of like insulting your friends. We've all been hanging out with our friends and lobbed insults at each other, or at least comedians do that when we're all hanging out. One of them right now, one that we were pitching at Gen Con, is called Hyperbole, and it's a game of exaggerating the truth. So, it's just like, how much are you exaggerating the truth? And people have to try to guess how much you're exaggerating. All of those things for me are things that like people do in real life, but how do we sort of highlight them and make them into a fun game? So, that's kind of my voice as a comedian too. So it's really just translating that sort of same style into the world of board games.
I was talking about the essence of star power because, so that I can eat, I do marketing for people and so forth. And I was trying to explain star power and social media. And this connects directly to what you were talking about. Like, what is star power on TikTok? What is star power in other places? And you'd really be surprised. In new media, it is about approachability. Can I see, it's not like this person's so great, look at how far above they are. Like, I would like to go play a game with this person, or I can see this person just outside of, like, this person is just like me, maybe a little bit more hardworking and smarter. But, not unattainably, like, he's like my smart friend. He's like somebody I could have in my social circle or somebody I could see in my life. Approachability is massively important when you're getting your game design. And this is one of the reasons why you talk about promise when you lead your pitch for game design and publishers. They want to know how to connect either their audience immediately to the topic or the theme or the mechanism, and how that they can leverage what they've already got there to make that title a success. For me, it's all about getting people on board with that kind of fun. Like, I have like wacky ass themes. I need to build a bridge from where my fan base is or where potential fans are to what kind of crazy, like, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride I'm going to take them on this next time. So yours is taking experiences that everybody can relate to, like your comedy, and making them a point of connection between you and them, or them and their friends.
Yes, I would definitely say you said it better than I could have said it myself. So thank you. Yeah,
no, I think you said it that way, Grant. I just was like listening real hard.
Yeah. And what we're talking about, also with star power, and I think about in the games and that sort of stuff, is yes, approachability is really important, but authenticity is super important too. If you, Seppy, tried to make this really buttoned up, like this is a game sort of, it wouldn't come across that well, because that's not who you are and that's not how you think. You are a fun, wacky, person, and I like that your game sort of fit that, because that does feel authentic to me with you, you know? And I think that then that's how you build fans, right? It doesn't matter, right? You have fans that are going to check out any game you put out, regardless of what it is, because it was made by you.
Yeah, I made them drink the Kool-Aid to make that happen.
Yeah. I don't think you get that if you have unauthentic things out there.
I think authenticity in your voice is a great thing for people to think about when they're getting ready for their pitch, when they're making their game design, and it doesn't have to be like forever. It could be who you want to be, who you want to explore, and getting to the essence of the kind of fun you can share. That is the genuineness. Yeah. If you don't think it's fun, and that could be the pitch meeting, it could be the demo, it could be the conversation, and it could be the game, no one else is going to think it's fun. And if you do think it's fun, think about how you can let somebody come into your world. How do you give them a golden ticket? Like, oh, let's where's the candy bar that they need to realize to come into the chocolate factory? And also realize all playtesters are Veruca Salt. Just
fair.
But go on. How would you say your voice has changed in the last, since it's 2017? Wow, we're coming up on 5 years for you doing this, Grant.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I don't know that my voice has changed, but my understanding of game mechanisms and what a game needs has certainly
You played
changed.
a lot of games in the last 5 years. You have played a lot of games.
That's true. And, if I was to go back and do Curmudgeon again, I would take out like 2 rules in it. Like, to me, for the experience of the game, I think it's a fun game, but I think there are like 2 rules too many. You know what I mean? It's not crazy complex or anything like that. But for the experience of the game, I think it should be even simpler. And, that's a lesson that I have now that I didn't really know back then. And so, I think one of the things I've learned through designing games is really to go, what is the most fun thing about this game? And how do we build the entire game around that? How do we make that one thing the central part of the game? And you don't have to add a ton of stuff around it for the game to work. Now, every game is going to be different because, a party game, obviously, like I'm doing, is going to have a lot less rules than a Euro game. But I still think the point holds even on a Euro game where, like, find the thing that's the most fun and then make sure that is always at the center of the game.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. You played Mouse Cheese. You've played Hedgehog Cop. I don't know if you played Processing. Yeah. It's basically pick up a thing and place a thing. That's all the games are like that. I'm looking at redoing a new edition for End of the Line, and it is going to be just as mean, but hopefully way more elegant. I know we're not supposed to use the word elegant anymore. It's out of fashion, but it's going to be simple. There is I don't want you to realize I have to do a whole bunch of things. No, it's the ramification of the thing that you do that is very brain melty and fun. Ben Harkins took a look at Conquest Princess 3 weeks ago. And some of his feedback really helped shake me up and refine the mechanics to exactly what you're saying. You can always streamline and refine. You can always do better. There's another pass on it. You might not always be able to see it. Sometimes you have to put it aside. Yeah. But one of those things that these pitch meetings you can do is hear what other people are picking up from you. Even if it's at the very top, okay, you say this to them, keep track of what they think of your promise and work on a different hook, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. How you explain the mechanisms. Okay, does it lead to them actually playing the game? One thing that I would say for practicing your pitch for today's topic, which is pitching to publishers, is what does success look like? And success, of course, we talked about, looks like them, like Ravensburg with you, like wanting to see your next game. That is one success. Now, all successes should also then lead you to what your next success is. And the next success would be the private, like, playing of the game, setting up a time to play the game. And it's almost better if you are playing the game either in the environment like curmudgeon, that it was meant to happen. Like, this person wants to have some fun and wants to unwind with work at the end of the day. That's one thing, right? But it's even better if they want to set up a time away from the convention where there's no more competition, where they can focus.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But then after that, what does the success look like? Okay, I got them to play it. And then what is next for that? Signing it isn't necessarily the next step. There might be a couple more steps between there and signing it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so if a pitch meeting goes well at a convention, normally what is going to happen is that they're going to ask for just a sell sheet. Like, it rarely happens that they want a prototype right then and stuff like that because, they're busy. They don't want to lose it. They don't want to all that sort of stuff. So I feel like, if a pitch meeting goes well, they ask for a sell sheet, then you should follow up after the convention and say,
2 weeks.
Yeah, you should follow up. And it's important to, like, keep notes on who was interested in which game and what did they really think about it and that sort of stuff. And that's when you can provide, if you have a sizzle video, you can give a sizzle video to them. If you have a rule book, maybe you send that to them. And then if they're interested, then they're usually requesting a prototype or a print and play or a TTS version or something like that that they can do. And then usually it's months of them just sort of playing the game without you. They don't really, maybe they want you there the first time to help teach or whatever. But most of the time, like, you're giving them a prototype or a print and play, and then you don't know what's going on the other side. Like, I don't know whether they played it and they hated it and they just haven't gotten back to me because they feel embarrassed, or whether they are loving it and they're wanting to fold more and more people into the play tests, because that's a thing that can happen. And so it's usually quite a while before you hear back, even after a pitch meeting that goes well.
Yes. So to encapsulate that again, if you have a good pitch meeting, they'll ask for your sell sheet. You should either immediately email it to them as a PDF, which is better because then 2 weeks later you can follow up with that email with another, hey, did you got a blah, right?
Yeah.
And it's not bugging them if the communication is regular but spaced out and done in a way that's respectful of them. You should definitely do this. And you respect what they say, like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't blah, blah, blah. Get back to me next month at this time. And you should set up a Google Calendar that tells you to go do this thing. In old school ways, we call this a client relationship manager, or CRM. You can use a spreadsheet to do that. You can use Trello to do it. You can use any number of managing your own stuff. Literally just set a calendar reminder for you to go and do these things again. And it is all based on, okay, I'm going to keep all of these plates spinning with these publishers based on their previous experience with me, what I've got going on, and being respectful of what they're going on. Because even if they sign the game, it might not get published. They might have the rights to it. You don't ever want to sign away anything in perpetuity, everybody. Never do that. But you're like, okay, if you do not publish it in this time, then it comes back to me and so forth and whatnot. But they, for whatever reason, because they've got business to runs, some games take more overhead than other games. Some games are competing with other titles. They just don't think it's really good. Like, it could be any number of things that make it happen. Mondo has joined us. Speaking of pitch meetings, Mondo Davis. Have you done the Mondo Davis filter yet, Grant?
No, I haven't. I
And
need
no,
to do
well,
it
everybody
sometime.
needs to. Like Mondo, you just missed other Mondo. Becky left. Becky looks best in the Mondo filter. I like Mondo doesn't nearly look as good as Becky during the Mondo filter. And we were talking about pitching to publishers. Mondo, if you want to sound in, that's today's topic. Grant had 16 pitch meetings at Gen Con. Mondo, you are falling behind.
Ah,
What is the next convention you're going to with your writing partner and doing the whole pitch circuit again? Is it PAX U? Or are you going to
yeah,
do
it'll be
Essen? Like
no,
what's going to happen?
it'll be PAX U. Especially because just in thinking about my games, is that they're not like heavy language games, but they are certainly language dependent games. And so I think it would have more success being published by a US or a North American publisher in English, and then perhaps localized if it does well here. But for Essen, for me, it's like I don't know that a German publisher or a French publisher or something is going to be the like right first step. That's just only for my games personally. It could be
I had a
right for others as
localization
well.
meeting at Gen Con with the German publisher. He's like, I like this Hedgehog Hop. The gameplay is very elegant. But the pictures, we do not do funny.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa.
yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
Hans Gruber. Oh God, that's amazing. Okay,
Well,
so
and
here's an offer that I'm going to extend to everybody who goes to my lives and who's thinking about it. If you want to workshop your pitch and with me, a schedule time with me at PAX Unplugged, either like early, whatever it is, let me know. I will listen to
that's
your pitch
cool.
and help you out based on what I think should be tightened up for making it happen.
Yeah,
Um, Even if
and
I'm
here,
not necessarily the best person for it, I used to be VP of marketing for software development companies, and I wrote the scripts for people's cold calling. I understand what makes people take your meeting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, one of the other things that I wanted to bring up at some point on this is that, like, it's also okay. I mean, I wouldn't tell the publisher which tier that they're in, but it is also okay for you to make tiers of publishers that you want to pitch to. And I do that with some of my stuff where I'm like, here are the 15 publishers that I would love to have this game with, maybe because they're a bigger publisher and they have a bigger reach, or because I feel this game is perfect for them, or that sort of stuff. I'll give that some time. I'm not going to reach out to 100 publishers right away. I'm going to reach out to 15 and pitch it to them. And then if those end up never going anywhere, now I will go to the next 10 or the next 15 on my list
I
after
love
that.
that for today's topic. Today's topic, of course, is pitching to publishers. Make a list and understand what the publishers do. That we should
Mm-hmm.
probably have done that 50 minutes ago, Grant.
Yeah.
That's a 50 minutes ago. Like your top for this kinds of stuff, and it's not in a conceited way. It's like, okay, I'm going to practice with these 15 publishers, or I think these publishers are good, and you can understand 15 publishers. Like understanding 100 publishers is like crazy, but understanding 15 publishers, you can make
Yeah.
that happen. You're like, oh, okay. And you can work your way up, and different publishers have different sizes, understanding where they're successful with other things. But also one thing that I would encourage people to do if they're publishing games, and Mondo's doing it, and Grant, you're doing it, is have a presence that people can see it is a bonus for selling the games.
Mm.
Like this is Grant's game has value. Like this is Mondo's game has value.
Yeah.
Like Sagrada Darrell. Like there's a lot of people who are on that upper echelon because their games have been designed, but also there are a set of people who bring a charisma with them or an approachability or something else. And that's an additional thing you can do to help publishers take your game more seriously. Like look at I played this with my 1,500 followers is much bigger deal than this is the first time it's seeing the light of day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like
I mean,
like Grant doesn't even remember what's having 1,500 followers like, Seppy.
Somebody asked, what should we look out for when signing? And so one of the things that I think is the most important to look out for is ownership rights. Like, whether they own the concept or you own the concept or that sort of stuff. I personally wouldn't sign away my ownership rights on something. I came up with this concept. I develop it. I want to retain ownership. You are publishing it, but you don't own the concept. Then the other thing is where we talked about is don't sign something in perpetuity. There are plenty of times where people say, oh, I signed something and there's no end date on a contract. And I would not do that. And in fact, I would be decently aggressive with my games. For me, it's like I give you 2 years. I give you 2 years. Now, you don't necessarily have to have something in the marketplace, but I need to see that like real progress is being done and that you have a prototype or something like that at least within 2 years. So those are what I would
for
say.
me, it's perpetuity. Signing out the rights, like looking at it, that's very, like, it's very hard to like own certain types of concepts and other kinds of things already. It's better to avoid that by saying, okay, you can own it. So that discussion never comes up. I mean, with outside of you having that discussion. Yeah, I believe in that. But mostly when you're getting ready and looking out for things, like, is it your opinion, Grant, that the gaming people are like welcoming, kind, looking out for each other people?
For sure. Like, it's not cutthroat. Like it
isn't.
I would definitely say you should still have a lawyer look at something because you should always have a lawyer look at a contract, I think, at any point. But I've never felt like somebody's like, we're trying to steal all the profits and you get nothing. Like, no, everybody is negotiating in good faith. I feel
that is a thing that I think people early to the industry, they freak out a little bit, right? Because now they have something they care. You've been through this contract stuff a million times in your other life, all this other kind of stuff. You should have it buttoned up, which is good. But remember, it's about a long-term relationship. You should assume the other person is trading in good faith.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants and you should be asking people, am I being overly sensitive? Is this unfair? Am I holding up the works too much and all that kinds of stuff?
Well, and the reality is that everybody wants the game to succeed.
Everybody does.
Everybody, it's in everybody's interest. Nobody's signing a game that they don't believe in. And so there's too many games out there. Everybody believes in the game.
They want you as an asset to be able to make that game better. They don't want to alienate you. They don't, and they want you to succeed. They want the game to succeed. They want to succeed. But we know we live in exciting times. Not everything and you have to be kind, considerate, and understand where other people are. All right, Grant. We're now in the